I honestly wonder if we're ever going to get a bad episode of Journal with Witch. It's like every single time I get an episode, I just want to yap about it. Let's start yapping about this show. My gosh. Episode 4, what a phenomenal episode. And it really does feel like there's a lot of emphasis here on something is about to break. I do kind of wonder when we're going to get that moment. I mean, we sort of got a little bit of a taste of it. This episode, Makio sort of kind of broke a little bit there. You know, it was kind of building up this idea of, you know, her being at her limit. The idea of Asa questioning so easily and effortlessly about her relationship with her sister just like suddenly breaks. I'm not going to tell you. It's like, it's not like she was, you know, saying, tell me now. It was like, just because she hinted at the idea of tell me why you don't like my mom, just she snaps. It's almost like Makio this entire time has been expecting it. Just ask me. I dare you to ask me. And then finally she hints at it and she just blows up. It's like, gosh, it just, you could feel this entire episode, I can feel Makio is holding something back. She is uncomfortable with Asa being there in a lot of cases. Because again, she keeps seeing her sister, and she doesn't like her sister. I have a few theories, by the way, of why she doesn't like her sister. I don't really want to hit on them too much so far. I mean, a lot of it really kind of feels around the idea of, yes, her seeing that she's not very feminine, or she's not ladylike enough, that she's gone and done this whole thing with her book, and that's not like a good proper career. Like, it's just a very judgmental person. I also think there's a lot of hints here so far that, you know, she may have been potentially very boyish. Maybe there's a gender thing here that there might be getting into eventually, but I think overall, just her sister had a lot of criticism about how she was doing her life, and she didn't like it. She was meddling too much in her life. I think we can, at base level, say that's a thing. But every single time she sees Asa, I think she's seeing that judgmental. Every single time we get a vision of, you know, her mother behind Asa, Makio sees judgments. Judgments are being hurled at her. It's always questioning her. And I think that's what she sees in Asa. So it was an inevitability that eventually she's going to suddenly snap whenever something is brought up that she doesn't want to be comfortable with. But that aside, we also had a lot of emphasis in this episode of Asa finally seemingly wanting a mom. And it hurt so freaking much the moment that she went to that bathroom, and then she had that whole vision of what she expected Makio to say. She was expecting a motherly response from Makio with her troubles, and she didn't get that. She got a huh. And so she goes in the bathroom, and she's literally sitting there going, Mom would say this. And she's envisioning her mother. We're finally getting a semblance of Asa desiring that comfort. Desiring a mom that would say motherly things and embrace her. Key point here, she wasn't wanting her to console her. She wasn't wanting Makio to say, oh, poor you, how'd that make you feel? No, she wanted her to say anything. Say you did it wrong. Don't do that again. It's like even the visions of her mother was, you know, reprimanding her. And that's all she wanted. She just wanted a response. A simple motherly response, and she's not getting it. And I'm like, oh, the moment that she's seen that and that vision pops in her head, I'm like, there it is. Finally. She's finally making a somewhat of a connection as to what that feeling is that she has all the time. That loneliness that she has all the time. She doesn't have what she once had. But yeah, let's get to the episode proper before I get to yapping too much. But a really phenomenal episode. Opening up the episode, we have the whole scene with Makio going to see her friends. Here, right, again, we're getting that semblance here where it's acknowledging that she doesn't want to get the responsibility of actually being her adopted mother. She doesn't feel it's a right place for her to be. But it also kind of hits a little bit on the idea that, yeah, she also has that problem with the fact that she thinks about Asa's mother every time she thinks about Asa. I think that might be the critical point if they ever do get to a point where Makio does actually adopt her as a child. That's the thing that she's going to have to get past. I think if there's going to be any strong connection between Makio and Asa, currently it's just, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. Come in here, I don't want you to be uncomfortable, but I'll never love you. I can't guarantee that I'll love you. And again, the reason why is because I keep seeing my sister whenever I have you around. But I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I still see you as a child that should be protected and shouldn't be stuck in despair. But I can't go over this line because you're the daughter of her. That's the unfortunate thing about the whole thing. Even though right here she is acknowledging, I know that's not her fault. She didn't choose to have my sister as her mother. But either way, I'm going to still try to treat her properly, even despite the fact that I know that I can't unsee that. It's rough. It's rough. But then we have, of course, the visit of Kasamichi. Kasamichi's a cool dude. Kasamichi's a cool dude. But yes, he comes to visit over there. I love having that little moment early on where, yes, of course, Asa's going, man, this guy's really grown up. She's been hanging around Makio, and even Makio with, Daigo. These are like not adults. They're so not adults. Again, she's used to her mother and all the things that her mother would do. And so when she's been around these people, they're foreign to her. This is the first person that she's seeing that's like, oh, a responsible adult, finally. But no, I like that little moment there where apparently she drank an entire liter of milk in one day, so she got to go run and get it. I don't know what to read here with Makio. She's like, suddenly, okay, I'm going to go get some. Don't worry. It's fine. I'm going to go get some. Like, she immediately drops the conversation and just rushed out the door. I kind of wonder if there's two sides here. One being that this is a thing that I have, like, in my order of things. I have to have that with the coffee, and thus she sees a break in there. She doesn't want to get mad about it, and so she rushes to do it. Or if it was a excuse to get out. It felt like an excuse. It felt like Makio right here with, Kasamichi being there and then having Asa there, having more than one person there. I really feel like whenever it breaks past one person, she gets uncomfortable. Now, again, she was technically with her friends like a couple scenes earlier in a diner and everything. So it does seem like she does have a comfort with certain people. And I think she might have that comfort with Kasamichi. She might have that comfort with Asa, but not the two of them together. But because it felt like I need to get out of this situation and get out the room. It was an excuse. I've done that before. I've seen people do that before. You find an excuse and you just rush and you grab it. Oh, good. I can get out of here without anybody questioning why I'm leaving. Anyways, that aside, the conversation with, Kasamichi and Asa, really telling conversation. The fact that, yes, Asa's like, hey, you guys are really close. Are you dating? You're definitely not cut from the same cloth as her. I love that little thing there. But yes, asking, why'd you stop dating or whatever? Why'd you break up? He has a brief little vision of, I'm guessing, the day in which things kind of fell apart between them. That apparently he brought up something with her and Makio said you wouldn't understand and she stormed out or something. He says it's my fault. I got too arrogant. 100%. 100%. He was probably trying to get her to fix her relationship with her sister. I have no doubt there. I don't see anything else that Makio would respond that way. You wouldn't understand something. And again, he says that he felt at fault and that he was arrogant. I can see that aspect being there where he was trying to help them fix their relationship. Probably said something effective. It's not that big of a deal. I hate that whole thing there. It sucks because it's like one of those elements where you want to see somebody is, overplaying something or they don't understand the underlying core value of fixing it. Like, yeah, somebody did something horrible to you, but you should have been in your relationship. Well, you don't understand how horrible that was to me. That aspect of being arrogant. You don't understand how impactful that was to me. Again, going back to the previous episode, Makio looking at that letter from Daigo. And the idea of how much that letter meant so much to her. Again, she said specifically, it basically told me that living, I had value to it. She was in a dark place. If that was her response to that letter, she was in a massively dark place. And I would imagine that a lot of that has to do with her sister. And I also kind of wonder, based on some conversation in this episode, it kind of makes me feel like Makio's parents weren't against her. Because it seems like she thinks fondly of her parents. Every time it's negative, it's always her sister. So it makes me believe that her home life was mostly horrible because of her sister. Or her sister picked up on something that her parents were doing and just kind of copied it. And she just doesn't want to think about the negative things about her actual parents. But anyways, that's what I'm assuming is, he probably pushed her on mending her relationship. And that probably is why they broke up, unfortunately. Because he seems like a cool dude. But yes, he mentioned the fact that, yes, he's there because partly he's just to meet Asa, but additionally to see how Makio's doing. So it does seem like he is sort of concerned about, how Makio's doing. And I can see that probably being the fact that he understands how hard it is for Makio to live with somebody. So he's probably checking on Makio to make sure that she's not going crazy having Asa around, that she's not breaking. But yeah, then start talking about lunch boxes. And again, really interesting little note here. Yes, having Shingo bring up his parents seems to imply the fact that his parents were very strict and very kind of, orderly. And they did a lot of great things for him. They provided for him well, but he's noting the idea there being two different concepts here. Raising a kid properly and doing a good job is completely different than actually loving them. It seems to imply that his parents were the type that didn't really give him the love that he needed, but they did a good job. And I think, again, touching on earlier with that whole flashback of her saying, you don't understand or you wouldn't understand, why they broke up is probably because he understood that Makio's family loved her, and he probably was, based on his own experience, saying, you should mend this because you don't understand how much they love you. I might be reading too much in that, but I'm kind of wondering if those two things will coincide. We'll see, though. And yeah, then we get into Makio talking about her experience with the lunchbox, was, again, very telling. The idea, it does seem like they took apparently a lot of pride in making her lunchboxes. They were against small tomatoes. They took much pride in the bento boxes. I got a massive kick out of that. But again, it didn't seem like she was thinking back with anything but fondness. It seemed like she liked what they did with her lunches, at least. So it doesn't seem like she was too against her parents. I don't know. But then we bring up the idea of Asa calling her Makio. And apparently that's something that is unheard of for a lot of people. And yeah, she brings up the fact that her mom used to call Makio-chan all the time. Said Makio-chan is a novelist. And immediately Makio gets another vision of her sister saying, aren't you embarrassed living in a fantasy world like this? Why don't you face reality? You have something to say? Again, very judgmental look. Very judgmental look from her sister. Every time she thinks of her sister, it's always judging her. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with her just not thinking that what Makio is doing is a proper life. Again, judgment. Her sister looked down upon her. But this goes to what I was kind of talking about a little bit in the previous episode. It's so contrasting what we're getting in this scene. Asa is saying she always called her Makio-chan. It doesn't sound formal. It sounds like she's referring to Makio in a very familiar way, like a sister would, like you would expect a sister would, like a friend would. That seems very contrast to what Makio sees in her vision, which is her sister, again, being judgmental of her. She's talking down on her for being a novelist, then right here Asa's saying that she says that she's a novelist. Why is Asa's experience with her mother so positive to Makio, but Makio's experience with her sister is so negative to her? It's either going to be the idea that whatever Makio's seen her sister was only seeing the negative, and she didn't see that she was actually looking out for her and caring for her, and always envisions in her memories, always envisions her sister in the nastiest way, but she wasn't actually that nasty. Or at some point her sister changed her mind. Again, goes to the whole thing that, Makio was talking about. This isn't something that she would wear. She made fun of me for wearing this. At some point, she changed, and she didn't see her sister as negative. And again, that can go to what Kasamichi was, envisioning in that moment they broke up, is that he probably seen at some point that maybe Makio's sister changed and wanted to make amends, and Makio said, no, you don't understand. But no, you don't understand, Makio. I think your sister really likes you now, and she wants to fix what has happened. Maybe at some point, Makio's sister just wanted her to meet her daughter and wanted to mend her relationship with her sister because her life had changed so much when she had her daughter. Because Makio's never met Asa. I don't know, it's multiple things that can really see the direction it's going, and either way, it's going to probably gut punch me either way. Anyways, yeah. Then aside, they start to do the whole, setup for the ceremony, getting the new clothes, her dancing around her uniform. I'm like, oh, it's so good. I got emotional like there, seeing her little daughter just kind of spin around her new outfit, her uniform that she's going to go to school with. It's so good. But yeah, we go to the entrance ceremony. We had a little comment again made about the idea of leaving the journal open. I'm assuming eventually she's either going to make a response to how slowly she's writing in it, or she's probably going to see something that she shouldn't see. And then it's going to blow up and she's going to say, I told you to leave that stupid thing closed. We'll see. But no, Asa goes to the entrance ceremony where we get to meet Emily's mom. I can't get a read if she's a busybody or if she's just a concerned mother. The moment that Asa comes up there, she apologizes. Thank you. She apologizes. Sorry for the whole graduation thing. But then immediately asks where her aunt is. She's like, oh, she's not here. I hate the fact that Asa didn't say, I told her not to come. So the obvious implication here that the mother's going to have is that, oh, she abandoned this girl to come here to the entrance ceremony alone. How dare she do that? And that's what she does. She immediately says, if there's something you can't tell her, let me know and I'll talk to her for you. Right here, Emily's mom immediately thinks, oh, this lady doesn't want to have anything to do with this girl. And she probably didn't want to come here. Even though she's assuming Asa wanted Makio to come with her, she's going, oh, she must have said, no, I'm not going to go there. Again, I feel like this is going to just kind of hit, in a wrong direction, but we'll see. But again, I was assuming that with the whole case with, the graduation that she potentially could have meant well and was concerned for Asa. But there's also the aspect that, yeah, often cases busybodies do that too. They want to get involved with everything. They have this self-righteousness or this justice within themselves they feel that they have to bestow upon others. And thus, she has to get involved with this stuff. Hopefully you don't have some damn case where Emily's mom calls up, some sort of child protection services or something like that. Concern for Asa. It's going to suck. keep your distance, lady. Keep your distance for a little while here. Anyways, they go to the entrance ceremony. Loved all the people that Asa runs into. She runs into somebody from middle school. The guy kept that bag since graduation. He's like, yeah, Nado was busy, and so I got this for you, and I held on to it for you. I'm like, good boy. I wanted to give that guy a pat on the back. Good boy. Good boy. He's been holding on to that thing just for poor Asa the entire time. But yeah, Asa meets a bunch of different people, and then we have that scene. Y'all. The gut punch scene of the entire episode. As Asa is walking with all these people that she just met, I'm presuming it's going to be her classmates. I think they usually sit them pretty close to each other. But anyway, they're walking with each other. And it does give a little emphasis here that each one of these individuals stand out in some way. You have the girl that's the class rep. She got to do the speech. They're talking about how, man, your parents must be really proud of you. This other girl over here is talking about how her parents are overly doty and they kind of went a little bit overboard. Yeah, this guy's really tall. This dude's really tall. He's a soccer player or whatever. Like, every single one of them has something that makes them stand out. And so the response that Asa has right here is digs into her brain to think, how can I stand out? It sucks because, like, this whole scene's like a gut punch, and it's like, oh, why'd you do that, girl moment? But I'm like, I understand why she does it. She sees everybody standing out. She looks into her catalog and her filing cabinets in her brain and goes, what can make me stand out right now? Oh, something made me stand out over here at the graduation. This is what I'm assuming, by the way. Something made me stand out over here, and that was the fact that everybody knew about the fact that my parents were dead. Grabs that, and like, it's almost like just without thinking, she grabs that and says, my parents are dead. My parents aren't here. Oh, you're talking about the fact that parents are always like that? My parents didn't do that. My parents aren't here. They're dead. They died in a car accident. I'm actually living with my aunt. She's a novelist. That was the first thing that she can think of in this heat of the moment that would make her stand out, and it completely flops. She acknowledged it later on. Yeah, that was a stupid thing to say. I messed up. And it sucks because it's so awkward. It is such an awkward moment. And it kind of implies later on that she's a type that doesn't like to stand out necessarily. Just every now and then she wants to. So it's obviously implying that she's not an extrovert. So she doesn't really honestly know how to say things that grabs people's attention. And she doesn't know how to, hold people's attention. It's a very introvert type of moment here. She doesn't know really the right words to say to really kind of join the conversation. She just says the first thing that would get people's attention. And it doesn't work to hold people's attention. And you see that. Everybody just kind of goes, oh, wow, that sounds like a movie plot line. I hope that's not a bad thing to say. No, it's fine. I'm perfectly fine. Okay, so anyways, and they leave her. Again, she doesn't know how to carry a conversation or hold a conversation. She just created a shock. And they all walked away and continued the conversation because it's honestly awkward. And she's left in the desert. I love how, again, it's such a why'd you do that moment in the episode, but it's like, I understand moment. It sucks. It sucks. But yeah, she goes home, immediately tells Makio, huh? Huh? What do you mean, huh? Oh, can I eat? Can I, it's getting cold. Sure, let me go wash my hands. And again, goes to the bathroom and immediately thinks, wait, I expected her to say this. I expect her to say this. I expect her to reprimand me. Say, oh, that was a dumb thing to do. Don't do that again. Yeah, that's awkward. Or, oh, man, that really sucks. How does that make you feel? She wanted Makio to say something that her mother would say. And this is, again, the moment where we're finally getting her acknowledging, I'm missing something in my life. This lonely feeling that I always have, what is it? Oh, that's right. My mom used to say this. My mom would embrace me here. That's the thing that's missing. She's finally seeing what she's been missing this entire time. This little gap, this hole in her heart that is always there now. I need a mom to tell me something. And Makio, who I'm assuming is going to do that because, hey, she's here at the house and she's my guardian, she's not doing that. She's failing to meet this thing that I'm missing. which has honestly been set up from the very beginning with what Makio said. I can't guarantee that I'll love you, but I'll at least give you a place that's comfortable, a place where you're not stuck in despair. But it's sort of its own despair here, unfortunately, because Makio won't make that connection. Anyway, she goes back in there. They'll have a conversation about standing out. She recommends the idea of, well, you sing all the time, so why don't you just join a band or something like that? She's like, oh, yeah, my mom hated the idea of bands. And the second gut punch of the episode is Makio responding, well, that's fine. You're your own person. Your mom's not here anymore. Ugh, goddamn. It's your life. Your mom's not here anymore. And it immediately throws Asa in that desert again. Again, reminding her she's finally connecting that loneliness. And so that's when right here, when it's brought up again, the fact that her mom's not there, she's back in isolation again. She's back in that loneliness again. She's feeling that again. Interesting that she immediately comes back out of it to ask her, why do you hate my mom? And that triggers Makio. I won't tell you why. Just because you're a kid and you mean no harm doesn't mean you can pry in just about anything. I'll never tell you. Again, I think this has been building up. She keeps seeing these things and constantly going, you're badgering at it. You're badgering at it. Not that Asa's doing it intentionally. Again, she even acknowledges it here. I know you mean no harm, but it's still nagging at her. Anyways, the next scene we have is Amity showing up as a house visit. And again, I felt so much tension in this scene. The moment that she was there and Makio goes over to the sink and she's just like, I'm at my limit. And at the same time, over here, Amity is talking about how her mom wants her to scope the place out, find out what kind of snacks Makio likes because she wants to visit. And Makio's like, no, don't bother. Tell her, literally just tell her, don't bother. It's a hassle. Like, be that clear with your mother. It's a hassle. I don't want it. And then Asa says, yeah, Makio's a bit weird. Ugh. The moment that Asa said that, I'm like, oh, that is a massive gut punch. I'm surprised it didn't show, like, literally, like, Makio's face and it tense up. Because Makio is a bit weird. Sounds very much so like her mother. Makio, I could see going, yeah, your mother would say that too. That I'm weird. That I don't want people coming over here. That I don't want to socialize with people. It's the tension in that room was way too thick. Way too thick. But yeah, then we cut to Amity leaving, saying, I'm going to come back here later to check up on her. Good girl. Amity, good girl. Amity, good girl. I'll back and check on her. Sorry for the trouble, and leaves. And then, yes, Asa wakes up, sees that Makio is still working. Food's on the table, goes over to eat, immediately remembers all the statements made by her. She's not here anymore. Your mother. What a hassle. Can't guarantee I'll love you. I hated my sister. I won't tell you why. And then she starts crying. Again, right here, she's acknowledging that she's lost something finally. She's finally acknowledging that she lost something. She's finally, I think, making the connection as why she's so lonely. And again, she's something that she mentions later on that she doesn't like. I don't like eating alone. And the fact that Makio is not joining her for dinner is only reminding her that she's alone. I think it's not really necessarily that she wants to eat with Makio. It's just that not eating with somebody reminds her that she's alone. And I think that loneliness is enough for her to really kind of feel that anxiety and that fear that she's having. It sucks. It sucks. But yeah, Makio comes out. So I can't only be considerate about your feelings. I probably can't understand your loneliness or anxieties either. Because you hate my mom? No, because I get very tired around others. I like that she's at least being honest here, but I do think there's probably going to be a connection between the two of them. And the idea that it's not necessarily just the fact that she's like an introvert. I think it's that there's a lot of aspects here that there's sort of a acknowledgement about things that she doesn't want to deal with. I think there's going to be a lot of this that's going to be about Makio and her sister and not wanting to confront things. Because we're different people, I can't understand your loneliness. And it gets that awkward hug. I love that little awkward hug. Just goes down to there, just like, just love that little awkward hug. And again, reiterates the idea of, if they ever have anything they want to talk about, they should stop what they're doing and talk about it then. But the thing that's a kicker right here really is Asa saying, even though you don't love me. Makio says, my hope is that you live a healthy life free from despair. I feel that way because I think fondly of you. And Asa's response is, I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. Even right here, as Makio is saying, I will be there for you. I'll listen to you. I can't understand you, but I'll at least be there for you. And I want to make sure that your life is comfortable. And she's going to meddle with Asa's life. She's already done that before. She stepped in there when Asa had that problem with Amity. She's still stepping in there. She's still trying to be a guardian. She's just not being a parent. And I think that's all kind of culminated to that very beginning segment of this episode. This idea of the fact that Makio is taking the role of a guardian, but she'll never overstep that line and be a mother. And then we emphasize it again with the whole situation with Kasamichi and the bento lunches, and the idea that there's the idea of, doing a good job raising somebody, but not loving somebody. We keep hitting on this idea that Makio is being a person that will help raise Asa, but not be an actual mother to Asa, which even Kasamichi's sort of acknowledging completely different things and not so great. Because even Kasamichi in the conversation about the bento says, don't overthink the bentos, which is almost like him saying, focus more on love rather than being perfect at this thing. I don't know. But yeah, she's embracing her. She's saying, I'm lonely. She accepted my loneliness, but couldn't understand it. Which I'm glad that Asa at least acknowledges that Makio is not purposely being, not loving and not nurturing. She just doesn't know how to. But again, the problem there is that she sort of plays out there. Asa's been stuck in this desert, and she's finally found an oasis by being next to Makio's side as she's embracing her. But what she's saying here is that, like water from an oasis, it quenches my thirst, but it won't become a part of my body. When you're in that desert and you find that oasis, it's a mirage, and you're drinking from it, but it's not actually giving you any water. You're probably lapping up sand. It's not actually giving you any sort of hydration. She's not getting anything while being embraced by Makio. She's accepting her and it feels like it, but it's not the same thing. It's not filling in that gap, even though it's right here. Makio's right here, but it's not filling that hole that I have. It's so good. Cinema. This entire episode is cinema. This entire show is cinema. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, then it rounds out the episode with Makio on a phone call with Kasamichi. And did I say Kasamichi? I always want to say Kasamichi. I don't know why. Kasamichi saying that we don't normally contact each other like this before. And I wonder if it's okay for a stranger like me to get suddenly so involved. And why do you feel lonely? This does give me a lot of hope. That it seems like with this little conversation with Kasamichi is that it feels like she's trying to learn from him how to connect better. And again, this might stem from when they broke up and the idea that, again, she pushed back on him and said that he wouldn't understand. That I'm wondering if she thought, okay, Kasamichi, he technically was trying to help me connect with somebody. Maybe he's somebody I can talk to about this. And so she's going to him first. And I think that's a big deal. Again, to everything else that we've seen about Kasamichi and his conversations about, family and whatnot, that he might be able to help her make that connection, make her understand. But we'll see. Anyways, another Yap Fest video. Hope you guys enjoyed my Yap Fest. Thank you to everybody that continues to watch these videos all the way through because it's a lot of recording, a lot of editing. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you did, though, make sure to hit the like button down below. If you like this content, you want to support channel more, become a member. Until next time, y'all take care.